Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video I wanted to share with you all this game I got to play at PAX East this year called Battle Chasers Nightwar. Now this video is going to have some trailers playing. Some of that footage is quite old, but it's what I could get. On top of that, I'm probably going to be ranting and rambling a little bit, so you've been forewarned. So I've got a few notes here, and I'm just going to read off a few little facts about Battle Chasers. So Battle Chasers Nightwar is actually based on the comic book series Battle Chasers by Joe, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Madureira back in April of 1998. So while the series was well liked over its 3-year lifespan ending in September 2001, it was criticized for how long it took to release each issue, with some of them taking 6 to 17 months. Issue number 9 ended on a cliffhanger as Madureira, which I'm probably still saying wrong, changed careers to go into the video game industry. Now, Battle Chasers Nightwar, which raised over $900,000 on Kickstarter, trust me, your money was well spent, looks to continue almost the 20-year-old comic book series from where it left off while giving people who have never heard of it a jumping on point. So why am I so excited to tell you about Battle Chasers Nightwar? This was one of the games that excited me the most at PAX East, alongside Dauntless. It's a JRPG-inspired turn-based combat that utilizes action RPG exploration elements to give you a fair, strategic means of advancing through both the world and the dungeons. So when the battles happen, it's, turn by turn, classic JRPG turn-based combat. For me, it's most reminiscent of Final Fantasy X because they have that gauge that actually tells you, who's going next, and, you just took this action when in relation to everyone else's actions, is this going to actually take place? Which was actually one of my favorite things across all the Final Fantasies. Loved it in Final Fantasy X, loved it here. But while that's how the combat itself actually works, the world is explored in two different ways. One is on sort of a grid almost. You explore the world on these little nodes in which encounters can be seen ahead of time, so you can decide if you want to go around or you want to charge right in, or maybe you just know you have to go past this enemy. You could see things like traps. You could find little hidden events in the world like this. And while it isn't free roam, it is a satisfying means of getting around because it gives you all the information you could want to make a decision on where you want to go next. Now, in dungeons themselves, something that this game loves, it's actually like a dungeon diving type system where there's multiple floors, there's traps, there's enemies all over the place, and you actually control your party from an isometric view, somewhat similar to action RPGs like Diablo. Enemies can be seen and actively avoided or encountered. You even have a limited number of exploration type abilities exclusive to each character. This includes things like dashes and AoE stuns, which can be used to either get the jump on debuffed enemies or just to avoid combat or dungeon traps altogether. Dungeons themselves are also available in multiple difficulty tiers, allowing for replayability and tailoring to the kind of challenge you desire with rewards to match. Now, once you're actually in combat, there are a total of 6 party members, though you can only use 3 at any given time, and they each have their own role and skill set that you'll have to mix and match depending on what kind of party you're looking to make. Now for resources, the characters are all pretty straightforward. They all have health and mana as their 2 basic resources, but their basic attacks also generate something called Overcharge, which is basically a 3rd resource that doubles as either bonus mana or as a resource that can be utilized outside of mana for additional effects. Overcharge resets in every battle, so because it acts like bonus mana, let's say you have 120 mana, and you have 10 overcharge, and the ability costs 15 mana to use. It'll take 10 of the mana from your overcharge, and then 5 from your actual mana pool. And since that overcharge is gone after every fight, you can use it to try and elongate what your resources are able to do throughout these somewhat long dungeons. Some effects also just eat both mana and overcharge. For example, you can get bonus damage by having more overcharge, but it's still going to cost you the same amount of mana because it's eating your overcharge to use it for the ability. It's a good strategic element that is used differently on every character despite having a similar effect. On top of that, it's got all the classic JRPG things you could want: buffs, debuffs, damage shield, even a party-based resource called Burst, which could be compared to the Final Fantasy's Limit Break, which can be expended by any of the party members to unleash special attacks based on their role. And of course, it wouldn't be an RPG without tons of items and recipes. Of course, a very important story. I'm sure you kind of figured that out based on my whole little precursor about the comic book series and things like that. It's got a lot of promising elements that really shine through, even in short play sessions. So that's all I can really intelligently speak about with the approximately 45 minutes to an hour I got to play this at PAX East. And I have actually written out word for word exactly what I want to tell you guys as a JRPG fan. So, as a JRPG fan, having played almost an hour of this game, let me tell you this is going to be a must-buy for me. The animations are fluid, the attacks feel hard-hitting, the characters have diverse personalities, and the dungeon diving mechanics make for great strategic gameplay. Seeing your enemies on the field before encountering them, make sure you're always going into a fight with all the knowledge you need on how to deal with it, and opens up for players to make their own progression choices. Do I want to just go in guns blazing, kill every enemy I see? Do I want to strategically try to separate them, maybe aggro one, pull it away, and pick them off one by one? Or should I just avoid them altogether and grab the treasure they're guarding, maybe even use that treasure against them once I've gotten it? The choice is entirely up to you. So if you're someone who backed Battle Chasers Nightwar and you haven't gotten to play any of it yet, trust me, like I said earlier, your money was well spent, and honestly, I wish I'd heard about it because I myself definitely would have backed it originally, and I'm still considering hovering over the support now button on their actual page, which I'll include in the description of the video below. So tell me, if you got to play this at any sort of event, E3, PAX, whatever it is, let me know what you thought in the comment section of the video below. And if you have any questions about the game itself that you'd like me to try and dive in and get some more information about, also ask those in the comment section because, trust me, I'm going to be playing this one. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.